Thank you, Infinite Intelligence. Thank you, love. So today, this is my, I can't really count, but I'm asked to come online. And the request came from watching my previous live stream. Feels like a presence in this room. I don't know if it's a cat. I have cats. It happened to be two. Not really my cat personally, but my sis cat. Well, how can I say it's not my cat? When I kiss them and take care of them as much as I can, right? But the nurturing is more of my sis. Yes, the cat was sick one time like that, and I acted like I was led to. I was led to take water, speak into the water, and pour it into his mouth, and it became, healthy. It's something I didn't tell anybody because it didn't make sense to. Some people had already given up on the cat within themselves, thinking it would die because it was not showing any response. And because previously there was a little cat that was rescued that didn't get that chance to survive. And I don't blame anyone. When I say the word hate, I hate. Hate to me, right, feels more like something that I would never do. Not because of fear, but because it doesn't fit into how I see myself, how I perceive myself. My hate doesn't come with a negative emotion. When I say hate, because I don't even allow anything worthy enough to generate a negative emotion. Mainly because negativity will only reduce me. Because that is the truth about negativity. It only reduces the person expressing the negativity. It hardly reduces the other person that is receiving the negativity. This is why people hurt themselves when they open their mouth to say negative things to anyone else. Because our universe, right, only sees us. God is so magnanimous, so cumbersome. Words cannot express God I exist with him. Because words, right, was generated from within it. I wouldn't be long online today because right now, not today because I've been online today, but because I don't really have light and my battery doesn't have that long lasting lifespan yet. And I've been juggling to work like that. So work has been, you know, a struggle. But because I am me, with the crazy brain I have, I see work as something that I turn into a exciting challenge. And I want to see how I can, regardless of the limitations I'm experiencing, still do something cumbersome, still produce something that feels good. Now, the reason why I don't think my voice right, is something I would put a price on because my voice is my words, and my words, whether written or spoken, is still my words. That's why I have not written a book that I want to sell because I don't think what flows through me is mine. That's why I come out here to say it without putting any price tag on it. And no matter how blown I ever get in this life, I would never have this membership page that is paid for. Why? Because it doesn't make any sense to me. What am I putting a price tag on? I was just born like that. Now, with that said, to hold heat, right, is to hold hot. For something to pain you, to feel not good, to feel unjust. So when I say I hate, if I've ever uttered it, right, I never carried that emotion that is heavy because love is light. Love is the lightest vibrating body. You can never find anything lighter than love. I'm, I'm always working out as much as possible because I use that to express my ADHD fire. And to my surprise, it has made me not fall sick because my bloodstream is always cleared of every obstacle because of the force at which I work out. I work out to exhaustion most times. Why? Because I don't count, I don't do reps. I just work out as much as I can go. And if I feel I can go much more, I stand up and go again. And I stand up and go again. That's how ADHD is. I lose track, right? Sorry, of how much I've gone. And it doesn't mean anything to me because if I can go, why not keep going? Because I would rather never, you know, have the arrogance to do what I can do today, tomorrow. That's how I take it. Now, the first time early today that I made a video, not in the night, in the like early hours of the morning, it was noisy. If you could hear background noise, right? I apologize for that. I don't live alone, and so I don't have my privacy. So it's not something I can help at the moment. And I just started going. I don't have gym access. I don't have the luxury of eating 3 times a day. And funny, very funny. It looks like I'm trying to prove that love is the most powerful force in the existence. But I'm not trying to. Like, I will not put myself in tight conditions just to prove that I can survive them, right? But that is God for you. God puts me in situations that make me see clearly that the only backbone I have is God. And this is why it's easy for me to see that any good anyone does to me is God itself reaching out to me. That is the truth of goodness. Any good that can exist in all of existence is God. Yes, even if someone opens the door for you, you are seeing a physical form. I am seeing God reaching out to me. 8 on the clock. Thank you, Infinite Intelligence. was asked to, and I couldn't stop myself from. And it's just so accurate that it happens to be synchronized. I didn't create this moment, this it I'm seeing. And so I take advantage of every opportunity I can that looks like I synchronously created it when I know I didn't. And it looks like that most often because people don't see that anything that exists is God that made it possible to exist. And because I am someone that has lived that awareness as a child, and this awareness I lived there, it's not something I embraced growing up. Honestly, I never embraced all that came to me. Why? The idea of God, right, growing up was like a battlefield because growing up and going to churches that are bringing your parents down as a child, you wonder why your parents would continue going to that church and taking their whole family through that negativity. I can never do that to any of my loved ones. Anywhere that would not welcome me genuinely because I feel energy. You can't hide if you are genuinely true to love me. I feel it. It's something I feel without you speaking it. It's just like the way you know when someone is angry with you without them saying anything. Energy cannot be hidden, and words only express energy. So either ways, you are going to reveal that which harbors you, that energy that you are vibrating on. You can't even be smiling. You can't perform love because love is not something that is bought or gotten by any source. That is why I love dragons. I'm so in love with dragons because they are beings that cannot exist in mediocrity. Like they need total, honest, genuine, pure love to exist. And because of so many misconceptions about dragons, right, and how they got extinct, it's not easy to express that simple truth that I understand. The understandings I have is not something I read in a book. I'm not telling you I haven't read books. Books I've read confirmed a lot I understand. They didn't tell me what I understand. They pointed out certain things that, if true, confirms what I understand. I don't know if it makes sense. And because this is how I scrutinized the message that kept coming to me to validate them. Because for me, validation was something that I needed growing up. I'm not telling you I need validation now, but yes, growing up, I needed to validate God I exist with Him. So, if anyone says God does not exist, I don't judge them. Why? I was once upon a time guilty to say God does not exist. Not because God was not talking to me, but because what society told me and what was said, right, were two different things. What society told me of what I exist within was quite different. What kept coming to me felt quite different. So it felt like junk because I wanted it to fit in to society. And I'm glad that I have grown out of that needing clap before I can accept God that has always flown through me. That's why if someone is saying that if people are clapping at me, it's not everybody that's mean well that are clapping. It's because the person that is speaking those words, right, is not connected to source directly to understand that clapping is not meaning shit to somebody that nothing existed to them. So being in isolation for years, right, grew me into someone that only consciousness is real. Every other thing is just expressing consciousness. And I've lived it for more than 30 years to tell you that that is the only truth that can exist. It's a truth that cannot be removed from me because I've experienced certain things that I can only tell you is love that makes me alive. So, with such backgrounds, when people open their mouth to talk, they have no idea how I see the world. Because how they perceive the world is what they think I perceive the world as. Right? And that was me a long time ago when I was small. So when I see that, I just shake my head and I smile. The other day, I mentioned someone on the road said something about trans fucking. They don't fuck 'em. And I'm looking at why do you think because somebody is trans, everybody can sleep with them? That they don't have boundaries. That's the first thing that came to my head. I'm not even offended because what concern me? Concern what a stranger that has no idea of anything than other than what he's fed by people that don't think in love. Because clearly listening to the words that came out of his mouth, it was surprised that it's fear that he's speaking because he can't explain how I'm bigger than him and he eats 3 times a day or even has more money than me if possible, right? As he can display it and show off to women. And I'm not interested in all those stupid fanatics that doesn't even make sense. Because I'm only devoted to one intimacy for my whole life. And this one intimacy that I'm devoted to every day of my life, I'm always grateful that I have never been intimate with anyone. And I'm not trying to prove that to anyone because it is only one intimacy that I live to unite with. It is the only intimacy that can ever happen to me. The only intimacy that can ever happen to me, right, is that which is God itself. And without that, it can't happen. So I'm not even moved if someone thinks because trans is related to me or something like that, I must have been sleeping with everybody. Because the truth is, I am not connected to anybody. They know. They have no idea who the fuck I am. And if they did, right, they wouldn't try to test me spiritually. Last night, I was just laughing on the way they dealt with Dealing was just crazy because I see spirit, right? So I can see when spirit is dealing with something that is trying to test me. It has a way of showing me as it happens, and then I'm actually like laughing. And the truth is, because love is the only power that can exist in all of existence, right? Positive energy is only expressing an increase in that love's energy, just like negative energy is only expressing a decrease. And something that is decreased cannot understand something that is above it. The above and below, right, is not saying that they are not equally love. No, everything is equally love. But when you grow in love, you have a different ability than someone that wouldn't grow in love. It's just the same way a baby that stays a baby cannot take care of itself like someone that is growing into a full size limbs and hands and legs. Why? The sizes, right? There's very small things you can do, and even at that stage, you need assistance. Not that you can't be independent. There are a lot of small people that are very independent, right? But yet, it's not that they are babies here, it's that they are babies in size, right? Not really babies, but they are small in size. Like they are not growing in size. That's but you see, the thing is our soul is a baby that never grows. So no matter what size we take on, right, our soul never grows. So people that are dwarfed, right, they are the real carbon copy of our soul. They probably look more like our soul and can emit more power than us that are grown without growing the soul because the soul cannot grow. And because the soul cannot grow, you can't make someone feel bad for not growing because not growing does not change the fact that love used itself to birth them. Love that used itself to birth all that can exist is why you and I have equal ability to love. I can't exist without love because I am aware of what I exist within. That is why I express the fact that I am a spirit born. Not everybody is aware. That awareness comes from being a higher level of incarnation, meaning that your soul has passed through series of growth process from different states of consciousness to the point that it gets born into form with a increased state of awareness. This state of awareness, right, happens in different forms because a child, right, has been said to remember playing the piano at a very little age. And out of that memory, have the ability to play the piano without being taught. So it's not a new thing. It's just every consciousness comes with a unique part to it. And this unique part plays out as our process of evolution, our process of growing into higher consciousness of this energy we exist within. What is happening right now simultaneously is a spirit evolution that is happening to all. You can't escape not understanding why you would rather choose genuinely to be unconditional love. Nothing can escape it. Like, I'm just informing you because I have passed through it, right? We all would come consciously to pass through it. We are different levels of awareness, and different levels of awareness is different levels of perceptions. I see God in all there is because God used itself to bet all that can exist. And every good I do to God I exist within because that is the only thing that can exist to me. And I live within God I exist within. This is not something I created to see. It's how I see the world. If I don't open my mouth to say it, it doesn't change what I see. And for long, when I was small, I'm used to keeping my mouth shut because I don't want to put so much mental burden on minds that cannot comprehend such. But still, that same me has grown to that point where I am asked to speak. And because I am asked to speak, I delight in speaking as much as it wants me to speak. My sis will tell you she cannot come and sit in front of a camera and nobody is looking at her and talk. She's not crazy. It's because she doesn't see that she's spirit existing within spirit. And it is not her fault that she can't see it. It's because she's not just in that awareness of the consciousness that is ever alive and ongoing, whether she's interested or not. You see, when I open my mouth to speak anytime, whether on camera or off camera, whether recorded or not, I speak to spirit. And because I speak to spirit, I do not use my words to pull down God I exist within. Sometimes I might appear so blunt, but my intention is never to bring down God I exist within because everything is God. I have this deeper understanding of the faceless God that will use any face to repeat a lesson till it sinks in. So don't consider my face as something that should aggravate you or irritate you because I probably don't even have a face. Like that is understanding spirit I exist within. There are certain things that I have learned that I cannot express until you have your personalized experience. And when you have your personalized experience, you come to meet me and you tell me that yes, it is indeed true. You see, for me, love is always free will. Love is the highest level of feeling good. And so I am even more about making you see why you're feeling good is important. And all I'm doing is sharing how I perceive the world. We watch movies every day and we see how people perceive the world. Movies help us reflect on how certain people perceive the world. not every perception can be captured in a movie because it takes for people to see the vision to create such movies. And most times it takes to be able to relate the vision. And I find myself in tight corners where I can't express the vision I see because words don't feel worthy enough to even do this, to do justice to it. So I didn't plan to make this video any longer than 30 because I can't sit longer myself. And so it's me in real time recording source true form, genuinely. So I can tell you that it's always a honor for me to express love because I would rather prefer to feel good. So even if I use the word hate, I don't have any negativity that justifies that word. There's nothing painful. There's nothing hurting. I had to be someone that lived in depression long enough to see that it doesn't even exist because you can choose to be happy. Like happiness is free. And it takes a very powerful mind that has lived through certain things to be able to even voice out that words. Because it sounds like child's play. And yet a lot of people are genuinely struggling with it. So I'm not trying to make anyone genuinely feeling like what you're going through is not valid. But the truth is, you are the most powerful force in all of existence because you are love. And so anything that you allow to steal that joy is you saying that that thing is more worthy than your own genuine feeling good, which doesn't make sense to love, honestly.